you're in a room with more than 40 billionaires, what would you ask them? The answers to most of your questions are probably found inside Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich book. Lucky for you, we read it so you don't have to. And today you'll get the 9 main lessons that you can implement, because it's not just about reading, but actually putting it to the test. Inside the room, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Charles Schwab, and many more are sitting eagerly waiting to answer your questions. So let's start off with what everyone here wants to know. How do I get rich? How can I go from nothing to something? Or do I have to come from a wealthy background? Hill's book reveals, after interviewing countless of successful people, it's not where you start, but the journey you take. There's a common trait among the wealthy, and that's the first lesson to remember. Every successful person in the room focuses their attention on success. You won't wake up one day and step into success. You have to build it. And to build it, you have to think about it. This lesson can also be tied to the desire to win and succeed. Steve Jobs was incredibly determined to develop a product that could be sold to a wide audience, despite being told by colleagues and other influential figures, including Bill Gates, that it couldn't be done. He persisted in working towards his desire, and the result? Well, just take a look at where we are today with laptops. Sounds too easy to be true? This room of billionaires has to give something more tangible, and they did. So here it goes. Lesson 2 is going to walk you through 6 steps to turn your desires into reality. Step 1, find the exact amount of money you want and write that number down. Don't just say 1 million. Get specific. Work backwards. Before you pick a random number, I honestly recommend watching the book review on I Will Teach You to Be Rich to understand what being rich means to you. There's a big difference between writing down $5 million and $390,000. Step 2, what are you willing to give in order to reach the number you wrote down in step 1? For example, investing time to become the most skilled personal trainer in town and transform lives with the money you make. Step 3, set a specific date for when you will have that amount you picked in step 1. Get very specific. Will it be July 18th, 2025 or December 1st, 2030? Step 4, create a realistic plan for achieving this and start taking action right away. Not today, not tomorrow, not during the weekend, but today. It can start with a small step, but start today. Step 5, write the previous 4 steps into one sentence. And lastly, step 6, get in the habit of reading this sentence 2 times per day, in the morning and at night. To make this even easier to implement, pair it with what you learned from the Atomic Habits book review so you never miss a day. Hold on, I have to read that sentence out loud twice per day? That's a little strange, right? The entire room might agree that it's a little weird at first, but it's exactly what Napoleon Hill realized and wrote in the book, which is lesson 3. It's the concept of auto-suggestion. You've probably heard of people around you that were so headstrong on something they believed in or thought about that it just ended up happening. Some call it manifesting. The book refers to it as auto-suggestion. And here's how to implement it at home. It's not just about reading the sentence, but reading it as if it were already happening. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality and illusion. Therefore, if you read the sentence, allowing your imagination to feel as if it were already happening, your brain thinks it's happening too. You have nothing to lose. So why not try it for a month and see what could change? And don't worry, the next lesson is a lot more tactical for those of you that still feel a little skeptical about this theory. Lesson 4 is to focus on developing specialized knowledge. There's education, there's general knowledge, and then there's specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge is what will give you power. Think of this like niching down. Pairing your knowledge with lesson 5, which is being persistent, will put you at an advantage compared to everyone else. The middle class isn't as successful as the leaders sitting in the room, not because they aren't talented enough, but because they don't have the grit to keep going even after failing. Similarly to the concept shared inside the Grit book review, there's 4 qualities of a persistent consistent person. One of these is planning, which is lesson 6. To develop specialized knowledge, you have to put in the work. Whether it's listening to podcasts or taking classes online, it requires repetitive practice, which can only happen through planning. Planning also means tweaking and staying with the plan even if you face challenges and roadblocks. Part of what Hill noticed goes into planning is also being surrounded by a group that helps you carry out your plan. This is known as a mastermind. And lesson 7 for you to implement. Mastermind now can be found all around, but the book writes that it has to be a group of like-minded people where you can offer the members something in return as you meet twice per week to exchange ideas. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and many others in the room all had masterminds that contributed to their success. But success doesn't just come from knowledge and being surrounded. Everyone in the room would also tell you the work they had to put in to overcome their fears. Specifically, these 6 fears you need to confront from lesson 8. These 6 fears are the most common we all face, but putting your foot down to confront these monsters today will help you get one step closer to the life you dream of. The fear of poverty, old age, criticism, illness, love, and death are all so common, but you need to be aware that these are what's holding you back. Remember that positive and negative emotions can occupy the mind at the same time. By shifting these emotions, you're getting closer to connecting with your gut instinct, which is lesson 9. Which lesson 9 identifies as your 6th sense. The journey involves embracing desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope, instead of dwelling on fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger. In doing so, you'll be on the path to sitting in a room filled with successful leaders just like the ones we learned from. If you've already read the book, go ahead and drop your thoughts down below. And if this episode left you hungry to know more, the book link is down below in the description.